Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. During this last week, pretty benign conditions here across the state. We had a couple waves that moved through with this northwest flow aloft that did generate a few light flurries, but no significant accumulations reported anywhere across the state. Basically, the east was well below normal, and we had some of the western portions of the state that essentially were rotating back and forth between cool and warm, but overall, as an average for the week, we were a little bit above normal. Now, we have been pretty benign since our big storm system that moved through the Central Plains, as most of the energy has been directed toward the eastern United States. And there was a hint last week that the models were trying to flip toward a troughing pattern in the western United States as we moved into the second half of the month. Current models have pushed that off just slightly. Instead of coming out between the 16th and the 18th, we're looking at something that may be coming out more on the tune of the 20th to the 23rd. However, the models are flopping around a lot right now in relation to these troughs coming out of the western United States. So a lot of things can change over this next week, particularly as we get in late next week when the first trough comes across the northern plains. So pay attention to the weather, because as has been happened in the past, a lot of times these models will have the right scenario at first, back off, and then all of a sudden a major storm will appear out of the blue. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see what we have in store. First thing I'll draw your attention to is there's another wave that is expected to move and slide toward the southwest over the next 24 hours, giving us a light chance for precipitation across particularly northern Nebraska. Probably the first half of today, as this system rapidly moves toward the southeast, it will bring in a little bit cooler air across northeast, north central Nebraska, but we're still not expecting much in the way of any significant accumulations. And then as we get into tomorrow, we are going to see this trough deepen as it goes into the eastern United States, and another piece of energy is going to slide on the backside of this trough and work its way through western Nebraska, once again giving us a chance for some light precipitation. We may actually see some accumulations in portions of the Panhandle, north central Nebraska, and if we do, it'll be less than 2 inches. Now, as we get into Monday, what we're going to notice is that second system comes down and deepens this trough, and that keeps us in a northwest flow, so we're going to see some cooling conditions as we get into Monday, and some rather bitter conditions across the eastern part of the state. But as you get toward the western part of the state, you'll be more closer to the warmer air. And as we get into Tuesday, we're going to see the system rapidly weaken as it moves to the Great Lakes, and the ridge from the west starts to build in. That's going to bring much warmer temperatures into the majority of the state, outside the northeastern portion of the state, where another piece of energy moving on the backside of this weakening trough may generate some light snow flurry activity or some light sprinkles, depending on the timing of the event as we go in through Tuesday. Now, as we get into Wednesday, we start to see the ridge building back in, and here we do have one trough coming in the western United States, and this is the one we need to watch, because right now it keeps it as a low energy type trough moving through our region. But right now we're expecting to see a ridge building in the middle of the week, which gives us nice warming temperatures, a little break from the cool conditions, and that'll probably continue somewhat on Thursday, but you'll see this trough rapidly moves into the region according to the latest models, and that will generate some light precipitation, but the system will rapidly move to our east and be out of the region as we get into Friday, and we'll be more in a zonal flow with some warming temperatures. In terms of the precipitation temperature forecast, the 8 to 14 day forecast from next Thursday through the following Tuesday keeps the warm temperatures across the majority of the country, and in terms of precipitation, a dry slot works into the western high plains.